Hello FFers. This is going to be a very special edition of the Mac Minute. I will be talking about the history of the theater prompter, and as a result, the history of the teleprompter. I'm currently speaking to you while using a teleprompter, and as you can see, my speech is natural and I'm freed of the worry involved in memorizing large chunks of text. This allows me to focus on my performance and be in the moment, sharing my joy with you, the viewing audience. Prompting has been around since theater itself. In the earliest days of our civilization, there are records of prompters working the stages in ancient Rome, keeping track of all the details needed to present a successful play. According to Wikipedia, the prompter, sometimes called the prompt in a theater, is a person who prompts or cues actors when they forget their lines or neglect to move on the stage to where they're supposed to be. Nowadays, many of the earlier duties of the prompter are undertaken by the stage manager, who will have a copy of the script called the prompt book. This is the most definitive version of the script for any one performance and contains details of all cues with their precise timings with respect to the action on stage. The teleprompter was born out of a need to bring the job of prompter into the modern age for television and later, most famously, for political speeches. The use of cue cards had been prevalent since the 1930s when John Barrymore famously used them to help him remember the script. Cue cards are simply poster-sized pieces of paper with the script written in large, easy-to-read letters. These cue cards are placed around the set or held by a cue card handler to assist the actor in remembering their lines. In 1948, actor Fred Barton had the idea to modify the cue cards into a rolling spool of paper that could be motorized and advanced either forward or backward according to the actor's needs. He called upon his friend Hubert Schlafly, an electrical engineer and director of television research, and asked him if he could make the invention a reality. "Piece of cake," said Mr. Schlafly, and using half a suitcase as an outer shell, he rigged up a series of belts, pulleys, and a motor to turn a scroll of butcher paper that displayed an actor's lines in half-inch letters. The paper was turned gradually and controlled by a stagehand. Soon after creating the device, Schlafly applied for a patent and founded the Teleprompter Corporation, which later became the largest cable services provider in the country. Hubert Schlafly lived to the grand old age of 91 and passed away here in my home state of Connecticut in the city of Stamford in 2011. Ironically, Mr. Schlafly never used his own device until 50 years after he invented it, when he read from a teleprompter while accepting his induction into the Cable Hall of Fame. I'm about to finish up with the teleprompter, but before I stop using it, I just want you to know it's called ZQ, and it's free on the internet. You can find a link to it in the featured topics of the Actors Feedback Forum. And now that I'm done with the teleprompter, I can just talk to you guys directly about prompting and its usage in your self-taped auditions. I don't think there's anything wrong with using a teleprompter or cue cards when you're doing an STA, because the last thing that should trip you up in an audition is the words. It's not about the words. It's never about the words. It's about the emotions and the feelings and being in the moment and authentically portraying that person in that situation, in their given circumstances, which for you are imagined circumstances. You're not really an alien on another world or flying in a spaceship. You're not actually a brain surgeon working on someone's brain. You're not really a soldier at war fighting an enemy on the battlefield. But all of these things need to become real in the context of the story that you are telling as an actor. And that's much, much more important than the words, especially in a self-taped audition, because what the casting people are looking for from you is you. So they want to see how you tell the story. They want to see that you have internalized the story and that you get it, that you know what it's about, that you know what the subtext is, that you know what the relationships are between the character you're portraying and the other characters in the scene, that you know what the objectives are and what the obstacles are and what the repercussions are. They want to see that you have done your research and done your prep by the way that you tell that story. And they'll know if you get it or not. And it won't be because you memorize the lines. It'll be because you're authentically portraying that person in that situation. So worry less about memorizing the lines and worry more about being in the moment. And if it means you have to use a teleprompter or a cue card and make that your eye line, go for it. The way I have my setup here, my monitor is high enough that I can look into the camera on the computer at eye level, and I can keep my script at eye level if I need to, and put it right up here on the monitor and glance at it as need be. Or literally use a teleprompter like I am here and have it display right over the camera lens so that I can look right at you if need be. We seldom have to spike the lens in a self-taped audition, which is why it's so much easier to use a teleprompter or a prompter or cue cards, because they can be over here. They don't have to be in front of the camera. So all you need to do is put them somewhere at eye height on your monitor or taped up near it so that you can look at that script as your eye line. Here's the secret. You still have to do your prep. You still have to do your practice. You still have to tape yourself and watch back and do your test, because you don't want to rely on that script as your only source of the lines. You need to at least be familiar with them enough that you don't have to read from the script. It's just there as a jog your memory. It's just there as a mental crutch. What it will do, you will find, is it will relieve you of the stress of memorization. It's more of like a mental trick than anything else. Just knowing it's there and you don't have to freak out about not knowing the next word is enough to relax you and let you just be in the moment. It's always there if you need it, but you'll find that you probably don't need it as much as you think you do. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys and that you enjoyed this Mac Minute. And I'd love to see the results in your future STAs. So let me know if you try it out and it works for you, okay? Keep up the great work, FFers.